The movie begins with a teenage girl named Vada, a high school student. She wakes up groggy in the morning, heads to the bathroom, and starts brushing her teeth. But she's so tired that she dozes off with the toothbrush still in her mouth until her little sister Amelia calls out to her and snaps her awake. Startled, Vada quickly gets dressed, prepares breakfast, and soon after, her boyfriend Nick, who's also her classmate, shows up to pick her up. On their way to school, they blast their favorite songs, laugh together, and enjoy the ride. Nick makes a stop to grab his favorite strong coffee, and he also buys Vada her favorite ice cream. Then they finally reach school, ready to start the day. Everything seems normal until suddenly Vada receives a message from Amelia. Her sister tells her to call right away. Worried, Vada asks permission to go to the bathroom and quickly dials Amelia. On the other end, Amelia sounds scared. Vada panics and asks what's wrong. Amelia explains that she feels like she's grown up overnight. She's experiencing something all girls eventually go through. Relieved, Vada comforts her, reassures her it's normal, gives her some advice on how to deal with it, and even promises to take her out later that night to cheer her up. After the call ends, Vada steps out of the stall, only to bump into Mia, a famous dancer at school whom Vada deeply admires. Excited, Vada quickly texts Amelia, telling her she just ran into Mia. From a distance, she watches Mia apply makeup, and without thinking, blurts out that Mia doesn't need it, that she's already beautiful. Mia smiles faintly. But before either of them can continue, the sound of gunshots erupts through the school. Chaos explodes as a dangerous gang storms in, shooting and killing many students. Panicked, Vada and Mia rush into the bathroom and lock themselves inside. Their hearts pound as the sound of gunfire gets closer. Vada pulls out her phone to send a message for help, but she freezes when someone begins forcing the bathroom door open. Holding their breath, the two girls stay silent until another student, Matt, stumbles in. He's terrified and crying. His brother has just been killed by the shooters. Shaken, he crawls under the stall to hide with them. The three sit huddled together, trembling in shock. Luckily, moments later, the police arrive and capture the attackers. But from that day on, Vada's life changes forever. She becomes withdrawn, locking herself in her room, refusing to talk to anyone, sinking deeper into depression. One evening, her parents, Patricia and Carlos, along with Amelia, manage to pull her out to sit with them at the table. Amelia shows her a list of the victims who died in the attack. When Vada sees the names of her close friends, her heart shatters. But she hides her pain, pretending she's fine so her mother won't worry. She excuses herself, says she wants to shower, and spends a long time alone in the bathroom trying to cope. Later, she returns to her room and attempts to sleep. Suddenly, her phone buzzes. A notification from Instagram. She opens it, shocked to see a message from Mia. They start chatting, checking in on each other. Mia admits she's scared because she's alone at home. Her parents are away on business in Japan. She invites Vada to come over if she wants company. Vada promises she'll visit, then ends the chat and tries to rest. The next morning, Vada wakes up startled from a nightmare. She takes a quick shower just as Patricia comes to drive her to meet Nick, who's waiting for her at the park. There, Nick opens up to Vada. He tells her how deeply he's been affected by the loss of their classmates and how he keeps asking himself why he wasn't one of the victims. But then he realizes maybe God kept him alive for a reason to fight crime, to enforce justice, and to make the world safer in the future. After that, Vada goes back home and finds Amelia and Patricia watching the news about the crime. She opens Mia's Instagram and keeps scrolling through her performance videos. At that moment, Vada tells Patricia that she's going over to Nick's place, but instead, she secretly decides to visit Mia. She feels Mia is the only one who truly understands what she went through. When she arrives, Mia is already waiting by the door, as if she knew Vada was coming. She welcomes her inside, and Vada is stunned by the beautiful home decor. At first,
She thinks Mia designed it all herself, but Mia explains that her parents are both artists. They chose everything. She also tells Vada that she's usually alone at home because her parents travel a lot for work. Vada admits she loves Mia's dance videos and feels inspired by how she always manages to change her own life. But then her phone buzzes. It's a message from Nick. He tells her that the funeral for Matt's brother will be tomorrow. Annoyed, Vada turns off her phone, especially since Patricia has been calling non-stop to check on her, and she doesn't want the distraction.
Vada then asks Mia if she'd come with her to the funeral. Mia agrees without hesitation. But before the night ends, Vada surprises Mia with a strange question. She asks if Mia's been having nightmares since the tragedy. Mia quietly admits that she hasn't had nightmares because she can't sleep at all. The next day, Vada and Mia attend the funeral for Matt's brother. After the ceremony, Matt thanks them sincerely for being there. Later, when Vada gets home, she carefully places photos of her friends who died into a box between her books, her heart heavy with grief. She goes to the bathroom overwhelmed with emotion, struggling to accept how brutally her friends were taken. That night, her mind races so much she can't sleep at all. The following morning, Amelia tries to pull her out of this dark state by taking her out for a drink. But Vada refuses and stays seated, lost in her own world. Amelia begs her for a while, then gives up and leaves. Alone, Vada sits in front of the TV, watching her favorite show. Suddenly, a message pops up from Mia, asking her to come over and keep her company. Vada agrees and heads over. The two sit together watching the show until Vada gets hungry. They go to the kitchen, cook something, and eat side by side. During dinner, Vada asks Mia about her love life, but Mia admits she doesn't really do anything other than dance. And ever since the tragedy, she hasn't even been able to go back to her dance lessons. That night, they're lying on the bed, watching a movie. For the first time in a while, Mia feels safe enough to sleep, knowing Vada is next to her. When Vada tries to sneak out, Mia stirs and asks her to stay until she's fully asleep. Vada agrees, sitting beside her until she drifts off. On her way home, Vada calls Nick, telling him she lied to her mom by saying she was with him so he shouldn't mention anything else. She explains she was really with Mia, who lives alone and is going through a rough time. When she finally gets home, Vada opens her laptop and watches programs demanding more protection for kids against crime and school attacks. Eventually, she feels exhausted, closes the laptop, and falls asleep, only to wake up terrified again from another nightmare. The next day, Patricia decides to bring in a therapist named Anna to help Vada cope with her trauma. Anna's first question is simple. What do you usually do when you feel overwhelmed, especially after the incident? Vada admits she can either sleep for 14 hours straight or binge-watch shows for hours on end. Anna looks at her closely and says she feels Vada is hiding something. She promises that whatever Vada shares will stay between them. Slowly, Vada opens up. She admits she's not okay, that she hasn't been able to adjust since the tragedy, but she keeps her feelings hidden from Patricia and Marcus so they won't worry about her. Anna then pulls out a book filled with psychological questions and asks Vada to answer them honestly so they can figure out what she's truly going through. After that, Patricia takes Vada and Amelia out to grab a drink together. But things get tense when Patricia brings up the idea of Vada returning to school. Instantly uncomfortable, Vada refuses to get out of the car. They eventually head back home, where Vada lies down on the couch, while Amelia sits beside her, recording fun videos on her phone. Suddenly, Vada receives a message from Matt asking to meet. She goes to see him, and the way they look at each other says it all. They're both broken, both going through the same pain. Still, Vada tries to be strong, comforting him, supporting him through the grief of losing his brother. The next day, Vada shuts off her phone and heads to Mia's place. Without much thought, the two of them decide to jump into the pool and smoke weed. While Mia relaxes and feels calmer, things spiral for Vada. She starts talking non-stop, losing control, until she finally collapses into the water. Later, Vada returns home, where Patricia once again tries to talk about school. Frustrated, Vada storms off to her room and calls Maya.
opening up about her fear of going back after the shooting. Maya admits her parents told her to study at home until she's ready to return, which makes Vada feel even more pressured by her mom. Tired, she decides to sleep early so she can attempt school the next morning.
The following day, Vada heads back to school, but her anxiety is written all over her face. She's so terrified she can't even bring herself to enter the bathroom, haunted by the memory of that day. At one point, she accidentally steps on an empty soda can, the sound reminding her of gunfire. She panics so badly she wets herself. Still, when she gets home, she pretends the day went fine, as if she's starting to heal. But the next morning, she makes a reckless choice. Vada buys drugs and takes them before school, thinking it'll help her face her fears. Instead, it backfires. She loses control in class, dancing and moving erratically, until she bites down on her pen, spilling ink all over her mouth. Her classmates and even her teacher are stunned. Embarrassed, she asks to go to the bathroom, but ends up sitting on the stairs, completely out of it. Desperate, she texts Nick to pick her up.
Amelia, horrified by Vada's condition, tries to help her, but Vada pushes her away and goes straight to bed. Hours later, she wakes up to a call from Matt, who says she had texted him earlier about taking drugs. Concerned, he checks on her. Vada invites him over to watch a movie. Matt comes by, and for a while, things feel normal. They joke, watch TV, and enjoy the moment. But suddenly, Matt says he has to leave because of something going on at home. Relieved to know she's okay, he says goodbye and leaves. Later that night, Vada overhears Patricia and Amelia laughing together in the kitchen. They don't realize she's listening. Instead of feeling comforted, she feels left out and quietly heads back to her room. The next morning, Vada tries to act like everything's fine. She brushes her teeth, puts on makeup, until Amelia knocks on the door asking what she's doing. Irritated, Vada yells at her. Almost immediately, she regrets it, wanting to make up with her sister, but by then, Amelia is gone. Vada gets dressed, puts on her shoes, and is about to leave when Amelia innocently asks why she's wearing makeup. Vada brushes her off, saying she doesn't need Amelia to walk her today. That's when we realize she's heading back to Mia's place. There, the two of them drink again, feeling happy and free. Their fun escalates into something wild. They run outside late at night, dancing in the streets, laughing like nothing else matters. Because Vada is completely out of it, she spends the night at Mia's to avoid her family noticing her condition. But the next morning, when she finally goes home, she finds her entire family waiting at the door, worried sick. She panics and lies, saying she was at Nick's, but they immediately call her out. Nick had phoned them multiple times, asking if they knew where she was. Embarrassed and caught off guard, Vada mutters that she's exhausted and needs sleep before rushing straight to her room.
At that moment, Patricia and Carlos follow Vada upstairs. But Patricia asks Carlos to step outside, then directly questions Vada. Has she met some stranger? Is she doing something wrong? Cornered, Vada finally admits the truth. She spent the night at Mia's place because they had been drinking and she couldn't come home. Without saying much, she leaves her mom, heads for a shower to clear her head, then makes her way to Nick's house. There, she apologizes for disappearing and explains she was with Mia because she wasn't feeling well. But Nick isn't having it anymore. He lays it out straight. Everyone was shaken by what happened, but he and the others managed to move forward and return to their lives. He reminds her that he gave her time, gave her space, but now he's exhausted. He doesn't know how much more he can take. Vada is stunned, angry, heartbroken. She argues with him, then ends their relationship and storms out. Afterward, she goes to see Matt, pouring out everything that just happened with Nick. Matt listens calmly, trying to explain. Nick lashed out because he's scared for her. Matt admits that losing his brother shattered him too, but he forced himself to keep moving forward so he wouldn't ruin his own future. Still, he never forgot the laughter, the memories. Overcome with guilt, Vada apologizes to Matt, realizing she reminded him of his brother. She tells him he can always talk to her about him whenever he needs to. Their eyes lock, heavy with unspoken feelings. Vada leans in, almost kissing him, but Matt freezes. Nervous, confused, he pulls back, saying he can't figure out his emotions. Embarrassed, Vada rushes out of the car in tears. Even when Mia texts her later, she ignores it and goes straight home. That night,
Amelia crawls into bed beside her sister, crying. She feels guilty, thinking Vada is upset with her for calling during the chaos. But Vada reassures her. She's the one person she loves most in the world. She admits she's hurting, that she's broken inside. To comfort Amelia, she reveals a secret. During the shooting, the only person she thought of was her. She had texted Amelia, "I love you," because she believed those would be her final words. Amelia lights up, relieved, clinging to Vada as they fall asleep together. She begs her never to leave her again.
The next day, Carlos decides to take Vada somewhere quiet, by the ocean. He encourages her to scream, to let everything out, and together they shout at the top of their lungs, releasing the pain. For the first time in a while, Vada feels lighter. The very first thing she does afterward is head to Mia's place, desperate to check on her. But when no one answers the door, her worry grows. Sneaking around the back, she finds a glass of alcohol left out. Alarmed, she rushes into the sauna, only to find Mia passed out cold. Terrified, Vada drags her to her room and wakes her up. Mia confesses she doesn't know how to live a normal life anymore. She feels like she's drowning, but she makes a choice. She'll return to her dance lessons the next day, determined not to let herself slip away. Vada supports her, promising she'll stand by her side no matter what. Grateful, Mia smiles, and they take a picture together to capture the moment. Soon after, Vada goes to her second session with Dr. Anna. Anna notices in Vada's journal that she wrote about being scared in many situations. So she asks, "What was the moment that scared you the most?" Vada admits it wasn't just the memories of the shooting, it was seeing her friends, even Nick, move on with their lives while she remained stuck. She breaks down, confessing that losing her relationship with Nick crushed her, because she loved him deeply. And then the anger bursts out. Through tears, she cries that her life was stolen, changed forever because of a few criminals who murdered innocent kids who never deserved it. But after pouring her heart out, something shifts. Vada decides she wants to change. She goes home, reconciles with her mom, and tells her she never meant to hurt her, that she was just fighting herself the whole time. Finally, she visits Mia at her dance studio. She texts her, saying she's waiting outside so they can hang out afterward. Mia beams, replying she'll be done soon. But just as Vada smiles, relieved, she sees a breaking news alert. Another school shooting. 12 students killed. Her face freezes. The air drains out of her. Memories flood back, sharp and unbearable. And just like that, she spirals again. This time, it doesn't look like she'll ever escape it, and the film ends.